Hi everyone. I want to take a moment to address a topic that has been creating a lot of stress, concern, and frustration for many First District residents and those from across the city, and that's the increased real estate assessments and their taxes. We are putting an unsustainable financial burden on our families and residents through what's going on right now with their taxes. But how did we get here? Richmond's real estate market has been incredibly active over the last several years. There are approximately 90,000 real estate parcels in the city, and in the last 3 years, we've had over 3,000 sold every year, which is about 3% of our total housing stock. This has increased the fair market value as defined and calculated by the Virginia State Code, has increased our assessment values by over 11 to 13% each year. And while our neighbors have sold their homes and cashed in on this inflated home value market, those who have stayed are now left with an increased assessment and higher real estate tax bill. The city has not increased the tax rate, but our market value assessments have increased as prices for homes have gone up. So the question is, what do we do about this? In Virginia, as in Dillon Rule State, cities like Richmond are legally limited to our options to respond and address to real estate tax issues. So currently we have two options. One, we can explore lowering our tax rate. Two, create a tax credit program. So first, lowering our tax rate. There's a proposal to reduce our tax rate by 4 cents, which, while this is a response to the current problem, I do not believe it will be enough. A 4-cent decrease in our tax rate is about 3%, while the increased values of our homes have gone up 13% across the entire city. This approach will only protect residents against future increases in assessed values if council and the city commit to rolling back the tax rate every year moving forward as our increased values increase. The other option of a tax credit program. Well, Henrico just completed one, as they gave money back to homeowners based upon the surplus of revenue they had last year. And Richmond could do the same. There is a projected fiscal year 2022 budget surplus that could be used to fund a similar tax credit program like Henrico's. I believe that our current budget surplus should fund a more robust refund to homeowners. But let's take a second. Imagine, if you will, a situation where your real estate tax bill was consistent and predictable regardless of the real estate market. If the market value of your home could increase but not be taxed on that new value, wouldn't that be kind of an interesting perspective? In 2019, I lobbied the General Assembly with Senator McClellan to allow Richmond to implement the land value tax. This real estate tax reform would align your real estate tax bill to the value of your land only. Currently, your tax rate is for the land and the improvement or the house. Land value tax would only calculate the value of your land and tax you accordingly. Then the zoning of your property would dictate the value of your taxes. So what does this mean? Well, it can help address a couple needs. One, as private investment increases around residential neighborhoods, new houses, new renovations, new sales, those currently living there would not see their real estate taxes increase as maybe the values around them do. Unless the zoning of their home were to change, then the land value tax bill would remain mostly unchanged. Vacant and blighted properties would now see increased tax bills and would create incentive for redevelopment. And we've seen some of those all across the neighborhoods in our cities. Imagine if those were to be added back to the neighborhood, would be a great benefit and added an increase of opportunity. Third, it can attract new private investment and development. Landowners who've been prospecting and holding on to land and vacant buildings will now be encouraged to develop to match the zoning underneath it, which would mean it could be sold or put back into the active building as part of the community, and also create new revenues, maybe jobs and some other community benefits as well. Another opportunity is new revenues can be created through rezoning. Just last year, we supported the rezoning of the Broad Street corridor between Staples Mill and Scott's Addition to match TOD1 as the rest of the Pulse corridor. That increase in zoning is mixed uses, it's height, it's density, it's all these increased benefits, thus making that land more valuable. And therein lies the opportunity of creating revenue in an intentional plan from the city. If we want to see new revenues come in, we can zone to match that goal. So in closing, the short-term solution, City Council will explore the proposed tax rate reduction paper, and I will push for analysis on how to create a tax refund program using our fiscal surplus for last year, just as Henrico did. Now, for the long term, which I think is a more pressing conversation that needs to be had today as well, we'll be looking at the land value tax. Currently, there's a study in our budget that's been funded as of last year to support studying the land value tax. Has yet to see started yet, but I'll be pushing the mayor and the CAO to initiate this study to explore its benefits, impact, and potential changes to our budget. Of course, we will engage with you around any change, any impact, and let you have as much say in the matter as possible before we implement any changes. But we must act immediately to support our residents and families from further financial burdens placed on them by this real estate market and our current tax structures. So stay tuned for more. Thank you.